Hello again. I will be putting together a bunch of small clips into a video that I hope to put onto YouTube eventually, although it's going to be a while before this gets finished. What I'm going to try and do in this set of videos, which I really hope I can put into a single video actually on YouTube when I get it there, is to show you some of the preparation work as well as the weaving in making a set of towels. Now, I'm not going to show you all of the preparation work because, quite honestly, I've already done some of it. It's done. It's too late to show you. And that is measuring out all of the threads that are going to be needed for this set of towels. And I do that on a warping board. There are other videos on YouTube you can probably find. Other people have done that. And maybe eventually I'll do one of that too. But I'm going to be making a set of towels here with cotton in two different shades of brown, if you will, and my towels are intended to be 20 threads per inch in the warp, and I'm going to go 21 inches wide, so that's 420 threads plus a floating selvage on each side. So what I want to show you first on this is just that I've gotten the threads laying across the back of the loom, and I'm starting to tie them onto the back beam. And so I'm going to aim the camera down now and show you how I'm doing this. We've got the threads tied on or looped over this steel rod on the back of the loom, and through what these are called lee sticks, there's a cross in the thread. I don't know if you can imagine it with my fingers, where the threads cross in between here. And so I can keep every second thread, one going up, one going down. Then I've got them tied kind of together into groups here. I'm going to untie these. Grab a bit of a pick comb here and just give these threads a bit of a comb out. And then across the top of the loom is what's called a built-in raddle. R-A-D-D-E-L, I believe it's spelled. And it's basically for separating out or kind of combing through your threads. And it's got 5 openings per inch. So I'm going to put in 4 threads per opening, which will then give me my 20 threads in each inch. And as soon as I'm done doing this, I will bring you in a little bit closer and show you. Here we are after having combed out to some extent all of the threads on the back of the loom and up into the raddle, and you can see them there. There's basically 4 threads in each of the openings there in the raddle. So now let's wander around to the other side of the loom and you can see what a real mess we've got, because the threads all need clearing out, or combing out, I mean. And that's going to be my next task. So I'll start to comb them out, and then after that's done, I'll start to wind them onto the back beam. Well, I don't know if you can be able to see this very well or not. I've got most of the warp threads on this side pretty well combed out. I'm using kind of a hair pick comb and just going up here and combing out. I know there are people who say you don't have to do this and it's not needed. I guess it's personal preference. Personally, I think you do need to do this. So I'm not doing a great deal, but I'll just go up and do a little bit of straightening out of each of these. About a yard's worth of threads will get straightened out. I don't know if you can see, there's like one, some of them are messed up. So anyways, I'll straighten them out about a yard's worth at a time, then I'll wind it onto the back beam. Then I'll comb out another yard. Maybe if I'd switch hands you could see it better. But I can't put the camera at a much better angle than this because it's in the only place where there's an opening. It's back far enough because right behind me there's a wall. So now on this last set here, I've got a couple extra threads because I want to have a floating selvage. And I could explain that to you, but this isn't the time. I'll try and do that a little bit later on. Anyways, there's what I've got. Let's see if we can zoom out just a little bit. You can kind of see the threads are all laid out here across the top of the loom. What I'm going to do next is go on the other side, the back. I'm sitting at the front of the loom now. And I'm going to start to wind those onto the back beam. Well, here we are at the back of the loom. And I'm just about ready to start winding it on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see maybe a little better what I'm doing. I think that'll work. I'm going to start winding the threads as they come down this way through the lee sticks and then around like this. You can see I'm getting a little bit of looseness there, but I've got a fairly even tension down after I'm through the lee sticks. Although admittedly this one lee stick has got a lot of tension on it. So this is the idea. And there's still a few kinks in here that are holding it up. But I think you can get the idea of what I'm doing here. Here we are after winding most of the warp onto the back beam, and I'm just taking it off of the rattle, just giving it a quick comb through. Hopefully it's not a complete mess. And I'm going to drop it down behind, because the next step is going to be to pull the warp through the heddles individually. So I'll give this one a quick comb, doesn't need much, and drop it down. Notice that we're still separated by the lee sticks, and that's important because that maintains the cross in the threads, and it will make it easier for me to always pick the next thread in sequence, because I can always pick the one that's farthest over and not have to worry about the threads having gotten tangled up, because the cross that's in the threads between the lee sticks will separate, so I always know which thread is the next one to grab. That's really critical at this point, otherwise I'd have a real tangled up mess later on. Well, here I am going to start some more warp threads through. I've done the first batch, that's right here. I think you can see those. Now I'm going to start, that was the first batch of the light colored. Now I'm finding the first thread here of the dark, and I'm going to move this heddle over, thread the first one, move it out of the way. Take the next thread, go through here,
I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's through the second heddle. Move that out of the way, move this one over just a little bit to work. Come up here, grab the next thread, which is not always easy to find them, but you got to do it carefully. There's my next thread, and I pull it through. Move this over. Next thread. See if I can do this such that you can see. That thread is going through the opening in the heddle, being pulled like that. So this is the process. It's somewhat slow and putsy, but it's the only way to do this that I know of on a hand loom. They do this once maybe in ages on big factory looms where they've got huge warps and they've got machines to help them tie on and stuff like that. But for hand weaving, especially when you're like me and you change patterns regularly, this is one of the things that just has to be done, and done slowly and carefully. And it does make for a much longer process of setup, but it also gives me the ability to make unique one-of-a-kind patterns. So that's why I do this the long, slow way. There, you've now seen me do 10 threads. That amounts to a ½ inch in this pattern, and this pattern is going to be 21 inches wide, so I've got another 10 to do on this, and then another 19 inches to go. Okay, I'm going to try this threading of the heddles one more time from a different angle to see if it will be better or worse for video. Now I'm going from shafts 10 down through 1, and I don't know how well this will turn out at all, but we'll go for it. I have a supervisor. The cat is on the back of the loom, trying to watch what I'm doing. I don't know if you can see very well that I'm pulling individual threads and going through the heddles with each one. But here's where that work I did before to get all the threads carefully lined up and in the cross on the back is really paying off, because now I can very easily always grab the next thread. And this is a pretty good time saver. Not that this process goes very fast. It doesn't, but it could go a lot slower. Last one of this batch, and last one of my second full inch. So I'll just push all these together, comb it out with my fingers, and tie a slip knot into this just tie a little slip knot in so we can keep them together. Whoops, and I missed 2 threads, look at that. Now I'll retie that slip knot. There's our slip knot. That batch is done, and we just push it out of the way. And that's it.